computer. All right, everybody, this is CC for CC on Air. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am in sunny St. Louis. I'm so glad that it's sunny today because I can actually broadcast from the outdoor classroom, which is a blessing. We've had a lot of snow here lately, which is weird. Back in the day, we used to have snow, but like recently, not so much snow. We've had as low as I think like 2 degrees, but we are having some good weather, and I think we're going to be in the 70s this week. So that is a blessing. So thank you for joining me. You can look out for these broadcasts on my YouTube channel, which is CC on Air, which is spelled SISIONAIR, or my other channel, CC Pruitt, SISIPRUITT. Also SoundCloud. You can go to CC on Air on SoundCloud or CC Pruitt on SoundCloud. Give me a minute because I got to fix that. But yes, it should be able to be audibly heard on SoundCloud. So today, people, we are going to talk to Hezakya today. Now, I just found his channel and I was like happy to find his channel because, you know, we look for things that resonate with us when we are educating ourselves about our people. Normally, I would watch a channel called Real Black, and I interviewed that brother about 3 years ago, I want to say. I probably need to post that video as well. I hadn't posted it, but it is on blacktalkradionetwork.com. So Hezakya, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me on. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Sunday, but yeah, we're fine. How are you guys doing today? Great.
Oh, we are absolutely great. I see that my husband has joined us as well. Welcome, husband.
Welcome.
I don't know if he can hear me yet, but yeah, his thing is acclimating. So yes, we are today going to focus on a video that is called 1986 Special Report. It was done by CBS, The Vanishing Black Family. But first, go ahead and talk to our people about yourself. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you came from, what your background is, what made you start doing these videos and all that stuff.
Okay, my background is I'm a Navy brat, a military brat, so I moved around a whole lot, but all my family is from Baltimore or down south. So, you know, we come here to move here. I've been here for 30 years. Great historical city. And I've always been into history, you know, in school. I took it upon myself after the lessons was over. I would get encyclopedias and read them, go to the libraries and check them out. Had library cards. I might still owe some money from 1995, but it might be over by now. I might owe 30 something. Yeah. So I always would do that. And I started with YouTube making, you know, mashups because I make samples and beats. I was a producer. And then from there, you know, that kind of dwelled off after the 2010, you know, after the Jay-Z stuff. People was mixing their little lyrics with the Beatles and stuff. And then after I did that, then I started getting into the police brutality. I knew the Eric Garner video happened, and I posted that, and that got like 1 million views. I was one of the first people to post that happened. And then I just took my love of history and my love of looking at documentaries and then combined them with the samples and the music that I was doing and just, you know, put them all together. And as far as the Vanishing Black Family, that is just a straightforward documentary that aired in the 80s. I kind of remember the commercials were still intact and I kind of remember that night when it aired, but of course I was 7 and you had to go to bed at night. But I kind of do remember those commercials, the spaghetti commercials, and I kind of like the commercials in that video. So yeah, it brought back a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is quite nostalgic to go back and see those videos. But particularly you, so you're in like the Baltimore area, right?
Yes, Baltimore City, downtown.
Right, so you're not too far from where all this took place. Now, after watching the video, I myself was just wondering, you know, how many of these people are still around? How has it affected them? Because I would think that even being in this documentary, it would actually affect them in a way to where they would be mindful about their future actions. You know what I'm saying? But that's not necessarily true because we know that there are several tentacles that are attached to Black people and our lack of success. So when I think of all of the people that were in the video, of course, we would hope that they would all do well. But I think that you have some information we'll talk about later on what has happened to some of those people.
Yes, definitely, I do.
Yeah. Now, in this documentary, I think it was actually well put together, you know, because sometimes you look at these documentaries, you're like, wow, look at them degrading our people, you know, look at,
Bill Moyers, yes.
yeah, it's like, look at what they're saying about us, look at how
People
we're
don't
acting.
know.
Huh?
There's a connection to this. Bill
Okay.
Moyers used to be an advisor to Lyndon Johnson in the 60s. So he was a part of all this civil rights legislation along with Patrick Moynihan. So they
Okay.
all were all in it together, drafting these welfare bills and these civil rights legislations
Uh-huh.
at that time. They all worked together. So
Right.
so Bill Moyers definitely was in the middle of all that. And for him, yeah, as far as the language, the narration, sometimes it can come across as condescending,
Right.
especially back then when you see the commercials,
Yeah.
which is another social experiment in itself. You
Yeah.
notice the commercials were all white people having fun with the credit cards, cooking dinner on yachts,
Right.
drinking coffee, and then it was black people back to the ghetto and how
Right.
they are producing like animals. And so a lot of that was condescending, but at the same time, a lot of it came true.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? It's important that you actually mention that, because you know, when you look at it from white America's perspective, it is like kind of visiting the zoo, you know,
Yeah,
like,
it is.
oh,
Like
yeah,
National
like,
Geographic.
yeah, yeah,
We're now reporting from the ghetto,
yes,
where the black people have children at extremical rates. What's going to happen? Extreme poverty. We're reporting from here, the zoo. And that's exactly
exactly.
how it was. Those special reports, if anybody grew up in the 70s and 80s, was very prevalent at that time. It was basically showing the black dysfunction, and it was going to where we only had 3 channels. So middle America would watch it. Oh, thank God I don't live like that. Oh,
Right.
yeah, those people, they're terrible, you know, and that image went across the world, you know.
Right.
So
Right. It definitely went across the world, and it is still prevalent today. Like, you still see our people being treated as if they are some sort of spectacle. And you know, it goes back. It goes back. It goes way far back. But here recently, not too long ago in the United States, they did have human zoos. They did have, you know, the World's Fair, where our people will put on display, and you have, you know,
the
people,
Hottentot Venus.
yeah,
Her
and even
buttocks was put on display so all the
right,
white men can drool and look. And today we still have versions of that Hottentot Venus going
right,
on in the
right.
media.
You absolutely do, with the quote celebrities and all that. But then
Right, quote
you had
unquote.
you have
Exactly.
people like Oda Benga, you know, and Oda Benga, they took him from his place in Africa and, you know, made him look like a vicious savage and filed his teeth into little points and, you know,
Yes.
chased him around the zoo, and he ended up committing suicide, you know. And we still have those displays going on today. We really do. And then furthermore, you know, they keep us in such impoverished conditions that when they offer you a little tiny bit of money to exploit yourself, you
The
take
bag,
it.
which we call it quote unquote the bag today, but who holds the bag?
Right.
The guy with the pointy horns in his ear. But let me tell you, another Jew about that documentary, Timothy, which he's the quote unquote villain of the documentary, the black man who
right.
has all these kids, and I don't care, they like artwork. Check this out. He was the villain back then. If you can Google all these articles about the vanishing black family when it first aired, Timothy, they used him to pass the Child Support Brady Act of 1986. It was the direct result of this documentary is the child support laws came in effect because of that. And they used the black man as the scapegoat, as, they probably wouldn't interview the most ignorant dude. Right. And was like, my kids, I don't care. I take the welfare checks, But how many other brothers you could have interviewed that lived in that same project that was responsible? Right. They look over that, you know. And Living Color back in the early 90s had a sketch on that. They was very progressive at the time for letting how the media was exploiting black people. So there was a fire, and Living Color had a sketch. It was a fire, and Tommy Davidson had on glasses. He had on a suit. Well,
Right.
what happened with the fire, sir? Well, let me tell you, the flames, they went real high. The people jumped. No, we don't want to talk to you. And they went to the girl with the rollers in her hair and the
Right.
fucking rollboard. And it
Right.
was like, let me tell you something. And
Right.
they're like, yeah, tell us a story. So that's what the media goes to.
Right.
It's to fit a narrative.
Right.
And
Right.
these
Right.
videos that I post shows how it started.
Right. Right.
Special report, dysfunctional Black people who have too many kids and can't take care of them.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Well, that's definitely true. Now with the Timothy character, yes. I mean, shoot. I mean, you look at today and being as how we know so many things, I'm like, wow, was he a real character? Did he really? I mean, was he a real
yes, he was a
person?
real person.
You know what? But you think about how they did it today, or how they do things today. Was he a real person? Like, how did they get him to really tell all? I mean, like you said, they found the most ignorant person that was doing nothing
to justify me. Because listen, I make documentaries, right? And when I kind of splice up the little news clips, I look for the most, you know, like the school bus thing that I just posted with the white lady, like, we need to get our children out of these schools. I look for the most salacious sound bites to get you guys to look, and then I add the rest of the stuff. So what they was doing with Timothy, they probably looked for the most salacious. They probably interviewed like 3, 4, 10 different guys.
and said he's not good enough.
They was like, hold up, let's get him.
Yeah.
He was funny. He talks all this. This is what we want. So they probably interviewed the guy who was responsible in the projects, took care of his children, but he only worked a minimum wage job, but he was doing his thing. This is boring. Nobody wants to see this. Put Timothy on. Yeah, I like that Timothy guy. He looked like Billy D. Williams too. Yeah. So he looks good on camera and he's funny. Let's put him on. He makes Black men look really bad.
Exactly. And the thing is, I don't know if this will play. Like I have the thing right here with him.
Maybe not.
This is Timothy.
Yeah, God bless his soul. Timothy passed away in 2007, by the way. So God bless his soul. I don't know how he died.
Alice came for what is only her fourth.
Now, can you hear that on your end? Can you hear this on your end?
Yes, I can hear it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very much worried, and I was kind of unhappy being
Let's go a little bit.
You know,
Let's go back a little bit. Let me see. Let's interview Timothy a little bit. Let's see here. We'll play a little bit.
Timothy was what we considered in the 80s a pretty boy.
Right.
He had the Billy D. Williams hair, the S curl. He was the shit. Women loved that type of looking dude in the 80s.
Right.
Has another family in another city. Timothy has a talent for drawing, which he has never developed. He dropped out of high school at 16 and spent
He got the wave.
You
know,
23 when he and Alice had their first child. Timothy does not.
You call that good hair. Timothy had good hair in the hood.
Yes.
How many children do you have? 6. He fathered those 6 children by 4 women. He also had 2 more children by 2 other women, but one died in infancy and the other was aborted. We asked him about the birth of his first surviving child.
It's kind of a funny experience because, like, the girl was just messing around, right? And she was going with somebody else. She used to be an old girlfriend of mine. She managed to get popped up by me.
Okay, that's the second baby. The third was
Mustafa.
And see, I'm gonna stop it right there because it's like,
stop it right there. Let me go ahead and say this. Shout out to Mustafa.
right.
He reached out on the video. God bless your father. Rest in peace. You know, we don't know him personally. We just knew what Bill Moyers decided to edit and put in this document. We don't know what he might have said about y'all, how much he loved his children. They probably edited all that out. But Mustafa reached out and was like, yo, it's good. Thank you for posting this. It's good to see my father young and looking good again. That's what he said. And that's all he said. And people was trying to comment and asking questions. He didn't respond. But that's all he said was good to see my father looking good and looking young again. That's what he said.
Right. And so the thing is, like I said, with all of the degradation that we see in our community, there's many tentacles to it. You know, it's not like Timothy popped out and he was just on a rampage to be this sex crazed, crazy Black man who wanted to have all these children. Timothy also was at a deficit. So you only are able to do what you see and what you're taught. And there was a quote that Bill Moyers said, what I said, where is it? That's the wrong one, huh? I wrote it down. He said, where is it? Children copy what they see and repeat what they learn, right?
Yes.
So if you're only putting certain things out there, you know, we like to tell children while we are doing the bad behavior, don't do what you see me doing, you know. But of course, if they see you doing it, then they're going to most likely do it as well.
Right. The reason why I'm the man I am is because of my father. He was, you know, he's a hippie guy from the city. He was born in the 50s. He plays instruments, guitars, Santana fan, and all that. And his love of history. So I got the good parts from him. Of course, there's the bad parts that you get from your parents and your family. But at this age, I'm able to take the good parts that my dad had taught me and use it to kind of express and teach other people of what I've learned through the soul history thing. Because like I said, I come from a family of historians.
Well, I got my husband here. Willie, what would you think about where we are so far concerning the Black family?
I would think that I think we're still where we're in the same spot. I don't think much has really changed, unfortunately. Yeah, just a harsh reality. We got a lot of work to do.
Well, you were saying that you know yourself a few people that are the same stereotype of what we're talking about here, Kevin.
Yeah,
I mean, not Kevin, Timothy.
I know like a dozen top of my head men who actually to this day, today, they're the same mindset. They just go out there and they have these women and they don't think about the children. So that mindset is, unfortunately, it probably wasn't his full mindset. I know guys, that is their full mindset. They probably saw somebody like this and just saw that snapshot of their life and they took that as that's what a man should do. And that's what they're doing.
Right. Well, that's definitely understandable. Again, because our poverty has many tentacles to it, because the goal is to keep us impoverished. The goal is to continue making us look as if we are just complete savages and we don't care about our children. We don't care about our loved ones. All we care about is sex. We're sex crazy, whatever, you know, that's what they, right. That's what they, when it's actually the opposite.
Sorry, if you guys watch one of my videos, it's called 1968 Special Report, What White America Thinks About Black America. It came out right after Martin Luther King got assassinated. And there's a white woman on there like, there's sex problem. I mean, come on, who has 5 and 8 illegitimate children? And she's saying this in 1968. Look up the video and it's eye-opening. And those people back then did not pull any punches. How they really felt, they said it. There was a white lady, she said, you know, I moved away from them. I don't want my children growing up around them because then they might go to school and then they might fall in love. I don't want my daughter marrying a colored boy. And that's, I mean, pull it up. I mean, it's so eye-opening that, yeah, you got to remember, those people have children. That was 1968, and these people look rather young. They look like 28, 30 at the time, right, when they had it. So you got to remember, my mother was born in 54, and my father was born in 53. So these people were like in their 70s, and their children are now on the benches. They're cops, they're lawyers, they're the people running decisions, and who do you think is teaching them? This is not some faraway magical place. Oh, we were slaves back in the Vikings and all. That was 30,000 years ago. We're talking about we're literally living on the land, and there's companies that are still in business that benefit off the slavery that are still in business.
Yeah, and you know what? That's very true. And I was talking to my husband about this earlier. You know, because of course we look for videos that resonate with us and that we can learn from. There's another video here called Harvest of Shame from 1960, and it was posted.
Yes, I was going to post that, but I didn't, because what I do is I make sure before I post any videos, it's not on YouTube already, because I want my channel exclusive to stuff that y'all never seen. But Harvest of Shame is a great CBS documentary, by the way.
It is a great documentary, and I say that because when we look at what Black people are going through, let's go ahead and just take this video, 1986. So you are talking about direct descendants from this 1960 video. And if you see how these people are living in 1960, our people living in 1960, they are going around to these different farms and being bussed around like literal cattle.
Like chattel slavery is just another form.
Exactly.
65, the 14th Amendment, 13th Amendment didn't mean nothing.
Yes,
It didn't just transferred it to another form.
yes, yes.
Involuntary servitude, unless you've been duly convicted for a crime.
Right, right. And they are dying in car accidents. Nobody cares. Living in abject just poverty, you know, and I heard that farm person he's over the head of the United States farm industry or whatever, talking about how they are the only ones that provide housing accommodations and all that, as if he's providing some kind of Airbnb situation. I mean, I was.
You ever heard of the Vagrancy Act of 1866 or 1865?
Yeah, vagrancy
form of
laws.
Jim Crow, and it still goes on. Any black man that was found without a job, they'll lock you up for vagrancy. So who bails you out? The sharecropper farmer, plantation owner. So in order to work off that bail, which you will never be able to work off, you got to work on this farm. And if you try to even protest against that, you get lynched. So
right,
it's a deep. I've learned a lot in my research about all of this. Slavery has never ended. It's just been consolidated into some other form of what we call these loopholes. In each law that's been, each amendment, there's always a loophole. Even people cheat on their taxes by looking for loopholes.
Oh yeah. Well, there's always loopholes for other people, but when it comes to us, they expect us to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and play by the rules, when they never play by the rules. All you got to do is watch American Greed. I mean, that's why that show was made. I mean,
the whole bootstrap thing, that really bugs me. I hate that. Well, how about our boots don't have any straps? We ain't have shoes. I mean, come on.
No, we have barely any skin on our feet at this point, you know, and that's the thing. But like I was saying, you look at this video from 1960 called Harvest of Shame. These people are directly connected with the next generation in the video you posted for 1986. So how in the world? Well, no, I'm not saying like, okay, these are the same people, but these are our people, the next generation. You know what I'm saying?
It's sort of a segue into it.
Yes, yes. So we're looking at generation after generation of poverty. So of course you're going to have the same situations, worse situations. Like, why in the world would somebody be able to pull themselves up out of a situation if you continue taking from them, you continue putting them in poverty? Now, this movie or this documentary, Harvest of Shame, they actually showed like Black people and also Latino people, and we know that Black people used to be the ones that were
migrant workers, right? Migrants.
Yes, the migrant workers. Black people used to be the slaves, and they used to be the ones doing all the work.
Yeah,
but then they
always exploited different races for whatever they needed. Like they got the Chinese to build the railroads. Maybe they was better at it in their mind, so they got them to do it.
Right.
And they got us to pick their cotton. You know, they always exploited each race for whatever individual needs that they needed at the time when they were building up their so-called infrastructure.
And that's what they do in this country. And you are expendable. They throw you out whenever it's time. They do whatever. And that's
then tell you that you don't work hard enough to get where they're at.
No, you didn't work hard enough, but they're on American Greed all day, every day.
That's called abuse. That's called the abuse. The abuser beat you up and then tell you you wasn't respecting me enough. You didn't love me enough. That's why I beat the hell out you.
Exactly.
Or you didn't work hard enough at the dinner table. You didn't cook that food good enough. So I'm beating the shit out you.
Yeah, that's
an abuse. And then if you say something about it, what, you crazy? I never touched you. What are you talking about? Forget about it. Leave it alone. How about I give you gaslighting? I buy you something, or I give you some welfare, whatever, and you forget all about it, right? Forget about this.
Right, a huge gaslighting that happens. I mean,
that's what it is, gaslighting.
That's the biggest gaslighters ever. I mean, they came up with the term. They need to apply it to themselves, because truly, our people are still being abused. Now, you know, this welfare situation, of course, it's been going on forever. And we know that welfare was created because of the Great Depression, if I'm not mistaken. Today, some statistics I pulled offline, it says that by frac.org, 37% of white people are on welfare, 26 are African American, 16 are Hispanic, 3% are Asian, and 2% are Native American. And there's a quote here: welfare lifts up white middle class, and largely excludes Black Americans. That's actually an article that I pulled, and I'll actually put it in the comments.
That's true.
But I would encourage everyone, you know, even Black people, because, you know, we get on our high horse and we look at our people in a certain way. Yes, we do look at each other and we condemn each other for where we are. There's a lot going on in our community, but again, how did we get here? You know, how do we stop it? You know,
Well, a lot of it is, listen, a lot of it is also has nothing to do with race, is American culture, capitalism. Capitalism is greed. I get more than you. I got more toys than you, so I win. I don't care if whatever. I don't care if I'm an asshole, a loser. I shit on everybody. I killed people to get here. But you're gonna respect me because I have more toys. Oh yeah, you're a man. You killed all these people, but you have this and that. Oh wow, we love you. So capitalism is greed. So us as Black people, we're Americans as well. So we're just living what we thought is what we're supposed to do. Step over people, shit on people to get the dollar, but not knowing that's not our culture. That's not how we live. That's not who we are. We're family. We're the village. It takes a village to raise a child and all that. That's where we come from, but we've been colonized. So, but we're never going back to Africa. So that's the end of that. So we gotta learn how to adapt here, but also keep our culture, just like the West Indians were able to keep their culture intact. You know, they separated us, but at the same time, we gotta have more family unity. The unity has been destroyed for materialism, for whatever the Euros think that what we want. I want a bag, I need this and that. That's just gonna lead you to death. I mean, just go ahead and keep chasing it, but you're gonna chase your own grave. I'm not like that. So I just want other people to not be like that anymore, man, because that shit is just grave. You're digging your own grave, chasing a bag. And honestly, you can't take none of this crap with you. What are you gonna be laying? You're gonna look like a good-looking corpse, like King Tut with a bunch of jewels laying on you, but your ass is still dead. So
but the thing is that you don't realize you're chasing the bag, but before they even hand you the bag, they've already slit a hole in it. So that's the thing.
This all doesn't mean nothing.
No,
the dollar only means something because the government says it does.
Right. And that's just like with
soul for that. Go ahead.
That's like with all of this, you know, it's all smoke and mirrors. It is all fake. It's phony. All of the news stories that you see are propaganda for the next level of depression and oppression. And our people don't realize it as a whole. You know, the saying is when the world gets a cold, we have pneumonia or the flu. And that's because our people are at the bottom. No matter what, we are at the bottom. And it is because we continue to chase the fake American dream. There is no American dream. There is no obtaining these things without sacrificing yourself. And that's what people don't realize. The higher and higher you get you think that you're getting your education and your paperwork and your documents and your diplomas and your degrees and master this or whatever, you are sacrificing a little bit of yourself more and more, but you're still not going to get anywhere because in the end, you are still Black. That's just it, that you're not any further than anybody else.
You can't be John Spinkelstein and you know, John McKinley and change your name to John Smith and Joseph, whatever, because they're still white, regardless.
They are.
They disguise themselves. We can't, we're still Black. Regardless, we still have that freaking stigma because we walk in a room, oh, that's that Black guy. But when a guy walks in, we don't know he's Mr. Spinkelstein. You know, he changed his name to Mr. Johnson, so you don't know. He's gonna get that job because he's still white.
Yeah, well, when you dig deep enough, you'll see that he was a Jew. Okay, so that's the bottom line. That's where it all lays at right there. You know, but like I said, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's fraud. But you know, they like to partially tell the story about these movies and documentaries, and it brings me to the movie Claudine. You know, Claudine, of course, great movie with Earl Jones and with Diane Carroll, and you know.
I've never seen it, but I'm gonna look it up.
You haven't seen Claudine?
Nah, I've heard of it. Well, yeah, you said Diane Carroll, brilliant, beautiful actress.
Oh my goodness. Yes, you gotta see Claudine. I think you can see Claudine for free too. But yes, Claudine,
Yes.
wonderful movie. I believe it was made in 1974, which was a great year, 1974.
I was born in 79, so
1974, I believe. It's about a mom. She has 5 children. I think she has 3 different babies' daddies. Met up with James Earl Jones. He was a garbage man, and they were trying.
oh, okay, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about with James Earl Jones.
Yeah, James Earl Jones. They were trying to make it happen, but she was on
I actually
welfare.
posted a video with James Earl Jones on my channel where he's married to a white woman. He's telling the news how he liked being with a white woman and black woman is so militant from slavery. This is 1968. Look it up. It's Hezakya Newz, James Earl Jones, 1968.
Yeah.
And he's with a white woman. He's telling the news, ABC, how does it feel, James, to be with a white woman? Well, I like it because you got the black woman, she's feeling this militancy from slavery. And she's, yeah, look it up. Swear to God, it's on my channel. People did a lot of forums about that video. James Earl Jones.
Well, you know, that just kind of makes me think about good times as we think about James Evans as a good father. Well, my husband showed me some video where he was on 2.5 Men being a homosexual. So I'm like, wow, okay.
Oh, you're talking about fucking John Amos.
Yeah.
Well, he's from North Jersey, by the way. Speaking of that, my mother met him. He's from North. So he played that role too? I didn't see that. I don't watch 2.5 Men because I hate.
I don't watch 2.5 Men either. That's why I didn't know. Because there I am.
I can't look at Charlie Sheen. He rubs me the. Now I like his old 80s movies, but other than that, I can't look at that dude. He like makes me like want to take a shower or something.
I don't blame you. Just most of the things that we see today should make us want to take a shower and brush our teeth. Willie, what do you have to say concerning where we're at right now? We talked about a lot.
I agree with you guys. I'm thankful that you got people like you, that brother, that actually put the videos up like that. We can see it. A lot of us don't know, I guess, how we were living back then in the 80s. Some people were kind of blinded by that, or people born in the 90s and 2000s don't realize where we came from.
Right.
And we don't know where we came from. We're destined to repeat it.
That's definitely true. But you know, what always perplexes me is how welfare is hyped up. You don't get that much on welfare. You really don't. I mean, unless you live like in places like, I'll say, Washington and Alaska. Now you might get a great amount of food stamps or something, but you don't get some significant check.
No, you don't get shit.
You really don't.
The first time that us as the citizens got anything was this pandemic. I mean, people was getting thousands of dollars of freaking food stamps, and people who didn't even deserve it was getting that. So yeah, we've never got, but the pandemic is what's caused a lot of this inflation.
Right.
Because I mean, trust me, I was getting $250 a month in food stamps when I was unemployed during the pandemic. So, I mean, my freezer thing was just straight, but also nobody was spending money because we was getting free money. So now I went to go pay for some turkey meat, and it was for turkey burgers, it was $19.99 for 2 pounds. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
What?
It's crazy. Yeah. This food is they call it Biden-inflation. Whatever we was doing during the pandemic, just giving people all this free money. Now I guess they just overcharging it. There's nobody working as well. You gotta remember, there's people not doing the shipyards no more. A lot of businesses are closed. So a lot of food is not being shipped out. A lot of people aren't farming. So
well, it's all by design. People are farming, but they're paying them checks not to send out their food.
Not to farm. Okay, yeah, that's true. They're paying them not to do that.
They're telling them to destroy their food. Destroy the food, stop the trucking, all that. This is all by design. So I mean, I know plenty of people working. When I look at my neighborhood, everybody's car is gone every day again. They gone, they working. So all this crap is by design. They inflate it. They're giving out money that they don't have. They're doing all these things for a reason, because the goal is to crash the dollar. That's what they're doing.
Right, the economy. You got it.
So we don't pussyfoot around here. We are telling the truth. These people are no good. They've been planning this stuff for decades.
We think this
Well, my
stuff is-
videos will show you how it's all been planned. You can go back to the 65, 66 and see what they've been trying to do.
I'll go
It
back
just
to
took
the
a while for it to
1800s.
be planned into action.
Right.
It takes a long, this is a long game for them. This is a lot of people play tricks with society, people who have money and power. It's a long end game. We had to sterilize people. We'll see the results in 30, 40 years, but I'm doing this so my children have to live around these people. You get what I'm saying? But they'll do it. So the people that did what they needed to do in the 60s, we're now seeing the results
But
of
they
their
still have their
social
children
experiments.
they still have their children having sex with those people so that they can extend their bloodline. So, you know, they go in and then they come back out. You know, they go in and they come back out so they can extend their bloodline. I mean, the end to me, what I think they're wanting to do is depopulate, kill off, crucify, so that they can go ahead and get these robots in place or whatever. But I mean, it's like, whoa, okay, you know what? What's after that? We know what's after that. You know, they are just trying to completely dismantle the world. It's not an American thing, it's a world thing. Because if you look at the world system, they're all playing monkey see, monkey do. They're all doing the same stuff. You watch Canada, you're like, oh, wow, they're doing that in Canada. Glad it's not here. Guess what? The trickle down is coming. The effect is coming. So what we have to do is be mindful of what has happened in the past. Stop pretending like you're going to get, you're going to be in a better place concerning this world system. This world is imploding. You know, we believe the Bible, and the Bible says you got to come out of her. And that's the only way you're going to get anywhere is by coming out of her. You can't try to stay in her. You can't leave your toes in the water. You got to come out of her. You got to figure out, you know, what other people are doing and try to gather with them and make things happen communally, because this world system is imploding. So it's time to grow your own food. It's time to learn how to make things. It's time to come out of debt, because, you know, they're probably going to bring back this debtor prison and all kind of crap.
Well, they already have debtors prisons. It's called child support.
Well,
I ain't gonna get into that right now, but
there you go.
as far as if you guys ever seen They Live, the movie with Roddy Piper came out in 1988, and the glasses, the sunglasses.
Oh, we've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, basically, I've seen that in 1988 on cable, and that movie changed my life, because I've always knew that when you put those sunglasses, which is a metaphor of you could see what other people don't see, that all these people you see that is leading us, they're monsters, they're aliens, you know, they're not, they're lizards.
Right.
But that's not saying they're actual lizard people, but that's a metaphor of basically, you gotta watch the movie. It's directed by John Carpenter. It's called They Live. It came out 87. Yeah, 87, not 88. Yeah, it's called They Live, directed by John Carpenter, that made Halloween, Michael Myers, and The Thing. And it got Roddy Piper, the wrestler from the 80s, and the black dude, Keith David. And they got this fight scene that goes on for 10 minutes. But the movie is one of these movies is before the Matrix, but he finds these glasses, right? And these sunglasses, when he puts them on, all the people that he see, the politicians that are on TV or whatever, or the ruling class, people buying fur coats, they're really aliens and lizard people. Like, it's weird. Like, you gotta watch the shit. It explains everything. But that movie changed my life in 87. When I first watched it as a kid.
We definitely saw that. And the thing is, with these movies, they go ahead and they tell us a lot of truth that we think is fiction. And that's
right.
We'll leave that one at, because you know, some would say that there are some aliens and lizards slithering around up in here, just like there was in the garden. But like I said, we're gonna leave that one right there. But yes, that was a very interesting movie, as well as, like, you know, The Matrix, which, you know, I haven't even seen The Matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
I know the gist
kind
of
of
The Matrix. Haven't seen it, but I know the gist of The Matrix.
Yeah, I mean, The Matrix is not as, to me, I like cult classics like 80s movies like The Thing or They Live. Yeah, The Matrix is a little high tech, and that's when the CGI came in, which the metaphor of The Matrix is still good, and it's kind of like it, but They Live is really, that disturbed me, because the dude, he was walking when he put the sunglasses, he was trying to get his friend, the black dude, you remember that scene, to put on the glasses, and he put his, like, he said, I don't want to face reality. I'm not putting on these glasses. The same thing when Lawrence Fishburne gave Neo the red or blue pill. Do you want to go back to sleep, or do you want to take this and wake up?
We got a lot of people going back to sleep. You know, we got a lot of people
that are like Keith David. They're gonna fight you for 10 minutes to not put on those sunglasses. Put on that scene. Anybody's gonna watch this and watch that movie. There's a scene they call it the longest fight scene in movie history. The black dude Keith David, who played in Mark for Death with Steven Seagal, you know the guy. And then he was fighting Roddy Piper because he didn't want to put on the glasses. Roddy's like, yo, put on these glasses, yo. Put the glasses on and you'll see that these people are lizards or whatever. I'm not putting them on. I don't want whatever you're smoking, man. I don't want it. And they just started fighting for 10 minutes. But it was a metaphor that the person is trying to wake you up and they don't want to be woke. They're comfortable being asleep. But they're going to fight you to the death to not put those glasses on. So a lot of that, you know, John Carpenter is great for me. I studied, he's a great filmmaker. And The Thing, and also Michael Myers' Halloween 1, he directed those and wrote those. I mean, he came up with the Halloween score, John Carpenter. That's him. He wrote that. Like, that's one of the greatest little scores, and it's so minimal.
Well, you know what? These people, I believe, that come up with this stuff, they know a lot that we don't. And again, they put facts in the movies and they put reality.
Yeah, they've seen a lot. They've seen a lot. And us as artists, we see things, but we can't say your name, so we don't do, but we'll have inspirations to put you into a lot of stuff. Like, there's characters in movies, which is an amalgamation of multiple people in one character. And those are usually in biopics. You might have one person who's supposed to represent this guy, but they'll just write them all into this one character. There's an amalgamation, so that's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's you have people, you have everything all in one, and you combine it, and then there you go. That's what I was trying to say.
So back to the movie, because of course, again, you know, it's so loaded, the things that we should be talking about concerning our people. But back to this documentary that you posted, which is called, again, 1986 Special Report, The Vanishing Black Family, where they are talking about how the Black family in 1986 was deteriorating because of teen pregnancy, no fathers wanting to be around, and just joblessness and just all kind of things. Now, there are several people in the documentary. Now, you talked about Timothy, and he actually passed away, and you said 2007. And
yes, that's what his
son Mustafa, who he actually mentioned in there, reached out and said something that was wonderful. Then we had the woman who he actually had the children with, who her name was Alice. Alice had 3 children by him, and altogether he had 6, 3 children by him. Now tell us what happened with Alice.
Alice passed away. She fell off the projects, the roof, down the stairs, something like that. You can Google the information. Alice, who had 3 kids by Timothy, she had like the Jerry curl, dark-skinned woman, pretty, she was well-spoken, whatever. She died right before the documentary aired, and you can pull it up. Bill Moyers, Jesse Jackson, all of them went to the funeral in New York. Yes. And so that was it. That's the last I've heard of her.
And you know, I just wonder what really happened, or how did she fall off the top of the roof?
I have no idea. They said she fell off the roof or something. I have to look at it, but she fell off the roof or something. It was ruled an accident, you know, but we don't know.
I believe that it was more than that.
And you know what?
Yeah.
There's a judgment day for everything.
To the community when it happened that they had a big funeral apparently in '86. Jesse Jackson, all the people that was featured in the documentary came out to pay their respects. Timothy passed away in 2007. I don't know how. Clorinda's doing really well. She likes bow-legged guys.
Clorinda, she likes the legs.
Clorinda, she's doing real well. She reaches out all the time with her videos, says a lot of comments. She goes back and forth. She used to go back and forth with some of the people talking crap about them. Like, listen, I didn't ended up like the way you try and say we all ended up, blah, blah, blah. So she's doing her children are doing well. They didn't repeat the cycle.
Okay.
You can see them all on Facebook. The rapper dude, I don't know how he's doing. I know that apparently he got locked up somewhere because all this stuff is public information.
Right. We're
Bill
not
Moyers
bashing
didn't do an
anybody. We're just
update.
talking about the public stuff.
Yeah, Bill Moyers didn't do an update. So this is as far as what I was passed along with. And like I said, some of them reach out, and the girl that was in the beginning, the very one holding the babies, I think, she reached out probably 2 weeks ago. It was like, that's me in the documentary. I have her full name. It was like, that's me in the documentary. I looked at her on Facebook. She's doing real well.
Wow, that's good to know. You know, the mother who took her children to the South, I would
I
definitely.
have no information on them. I tried my best. I don't have no information on them. Nothing. Not none.
Right. Well, I definitely would like
to them.
I would like to kind of keep a bookmark in the story to find out if we can get even more updates. I mean, even on the extended family.
Miranda seems like a cool person. Like I said, I would love to reach out to her, and she commented on the video herself. So we would like to talk about how she's doing now. You know, that would be great. We do our own follow-up. Bill Moyers is old now anyway. I don't even remember making a documentary.
Now, there was the sister and a brother at the end where they had the community center, their outreach program, you know, where she was kind of talking sense. I have her right here. Let's see. We'll play a little bit of that.
I know her. Yeah, I don't know what happened to her.
I was on welfare. I've been on welfare.
Are you suggesting that we do away with welfare?
No, I'm saying it has to be upgraded. For instance, I have some young people here that are on welfare, okay, but would like to work, but they can't work and make a coin because everything you make is taken away from your check.
Can you push the solution even further back? Is there any way to stop the cycle of teenage pregnancies?
It's so difficult to even talk about. In my heart, I think I have a solution, and I know, may rub people the wrong way. But I believe that teenage pregnancy cannot be stopped by programs. It has to be morals, and morals come from God. And
That's
so,
it.
Yeah. So I like what she said there, because, you know, the further back we reach in time concerning information, it is morals. It's that foundation, that biblical structure, that foundation that we had from day one, but we've thrown in the garbage. Because if we look now, teenage pregnancy is glamorized. I mean, you see teenage pregnant shows where they're paying these girls to be on TV because they had kids, you know. Back in the day, it wasn't glamorized like that.
Yeah, me being a teenager of the 90s, the babies having babies generation, I can attest that I've had girls when I was 16, 17 telling me that they want to have my baby, and they'll blame it on another guy. Oh, please, I just want your genes. And literally, yes. And this is like 1994 and 5. And so it was coming along because they realized, and I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, well, I just put him on child support, but I just want your genes. I'm like, wow.
But that doesn't even make sense.
So she was going to blame it on another guy.
That doesn't make any sense at all. But, you know, and I said that to say that none of it makes sense. Like Glorinda talking about, she likes his legs. I mean,
yeah, a lot of women that are, unfortunately, this is the way it is. It's like men. We might like the way a certain way a woman is built, the way she's stacked. So I'm willing to give her all of my spiritualness, all of my sperm, whatever, because I just like the way she looks. Or girl, I like his hat, or I like the way he look in them jeans, or he got some good shoes. I'm ready to give it up, you see? So we need to get out of that and
with
start
those,
looking.
Yes, his good shoes, they were
the
pony.
character of the person, you know?
That is, you know, but that's the thing. That's from lack of parenting. That's from lack of supervision. And when you are dealing with parenting classes and those sort of things, because I've taken parenting classes, there's something called being a helicopter parent. And that is supposed to be a bad thing. Being a helicopter parent, always over your children, making sure you always know what they're doing. That's supposed to be a bad thing. But when we see what's going on now, I would say that you better be a helicopter parent.
Yes. Now, I was a helicopter parent for my child. He's 21. He's doing really well. Proud of him. Got his own place. He just loved to play video games. Now, growing up in the 80s, we didn't have helicopter parents.
No.
They kicked you out the house, 85, get out, go outside, get out of here. And we're gone all day long until the street lights come on. It's time to get in the house. Right. But our parents said we had no cell phones. There was no way It's just get out the house, nothing on TV. We had Different Strokes will come on, that should go off. Thundercats, it's time to go outside and play. I don't want to sit in here. So we wanted to get away from my parents. Nintendo, the games got boring. You know, you couldn't save any of the games. Anyway, you died, it was over. Mario, you played, you got killed, it was over. Turn it off, you go outside. So that's what we're missing. We're missing that sense of community, but also the other women and the ladies and the other men in the neighborhood will watch out for the kids. And when it was the street lights come on, everybody's mother or father yell out the screen door, get in the house, yell out the windows, come on in, dinner ready. And we all just stop what we're doing. All right, see y'all tomorrow, gotta go. We don't have that these days. It was a sense of community. Me growing up here in Baltimore, I've seen how blocks went to nothing, where it was the whole blocks of families just all loving each other, living on porches. We all go to each other's porches. If we did anything wrong, Miss Sandra or Miss Rosalind to tell your grandma, like, I seen your little grandson out there doing such and such. So like they all looked out for each other. And that's what's wrong with us, man.
Right.
We look at each other. It's like we kind of start, we have this gender war. I see it all over YouTube. It's so hurtful. Black men are dusties. Black women are single bastard weave. It's just so terrible. I'm sick of it.
Right.
Especially when we see the struggles that we went through together. And this is what they want, us separating, hating each other. This makes them look good. You know, it makes them feel good.
Well, it's a vicious cycle. And unfortunately, what they don't understand, that there are those in power that absolutely should not be, that are actually working against them as well. I mean, that's just what it is, you know.
The white man has unlimited supply of black prostitutes. If you keep her hating her black man, you keep the black man unemployed, downtrodden, put a foot on his neck so we can keep raping his women and get away with it. And his women gonna obviously not respect him because he can't do shit for her because he keeps seeing her getting fucked over by us. We got power. So now that's where it is, the divesting and all that shit. I hate that shit because it's like, that's what they want, is dividing us. Without the family, we're nothing.
Right. Well,
we are vulnerable. We're now single people with no foundation, and we all can get got. But they have structure, they have families. They'll ride for each other. They'll go grab a shotgun for Sister Sarah or whoever. We don't have none of that no more.
Yeah, we have lost our sense of all community, but realistically, when we had less, we stuck together more. Like even when you look at the other video I was talking about, that was us all living together. We might have been super duper poor, but we were all together. And when you're all together like that, you have no choice except for to pull together.
We're all in together now. That's a very common tell. Just like with musicians or groups or temptations, it all is just common tell. You know, they're all, when they're struggling, playing a freaking chitlin circuit, they're all together. We're all in for one. We love each other. Once you start getting that money and getting accepted by the mainstream and the fight start, fuck you, man, I'm better than you. You ain't better than me. I'm David Ruffin and Temptation. All that stuff starts. You get what I'm saying? Right. So people start thinking they're better once you start getting sick. When we all struggling together, sleeping on the floor, on a mattress, we all we got.
And we have one piece of bread to cut into 4 slices. Right. One glass of
water.
water.
Live on this side of town, it's segregation, but we're gonna make this work. Oh, we don't have no watchmakers. I'm gonna make a watchmaker for our neighborhood. But now once segregation ended, I ain't going to you, Louis. I'm going over to Mr. Stuckelstein. He makes good watches. They ruined that community. But the Chinese, the Arabs, they never lost that because they came here as immigrants, so they stick together. We've been here since the beginning, so we don't have that.
Well, we've been taught to not stick together. That's the problem. We have been.
We got killed if we did. They separated us by tribes, by languages. This tribe is beefing with that tribe, so we're gonna put these two together on a plantation, on a ship, so that way they're gonna hate each other and not rise up. You get what I'm saying? They did all that was by this some psychological stuff. They studied all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but you know, We have to continue to work toward coming up out of the situation. I mean, there are solutions. And again, the solution is for us to stop trying to be in this world and of this world, because this world is imploding. You know, we want to thank you for talking to us. I mean, it's been a pleasure to
Am I
talk to you.
on camera? Like, because I was smoking a cigarette and stuff. You know, I'm a guest. Being in that old school tradition, they used to smoke cigarettes on TV. Remember all my videos? You always see them with cigarettes in their hand. Martin Luther King videos, and they're all sitting in the studio.
Right.
Okay.
We'll pretend like we're in the 60s. You did smoke a cigarette on camera. We'll just
I
pretend.
appreciate you guys for having me on. It's a great conversation. If you can give me the video, the audio, I would love to post it to my channel.
Yeah.
Definitely will do more. Like I said, it's the echo I just moved in, but I'm going to get as soon as my taxes come next week and get my dining room table. And
well, congratulations on getting a new place and moving upward and onward. You know, we commend you for that, and maybe we'll be able to meet you one day if we come back out to Maryland soon. We were just in Maryland a while ago.
Come meet you guys, definitely. You and your husband are great, and yeah. So you guys in St. Louis, right?
We are in St. Louis, yes.
Okay, the St. Lunatics.
Oh, yeah. I don't think anybody even knows them anymore, but yeah, yeah, they kind of obsolete. Yes, they're doing other things.
Kicked it off during the first span of riots. I think what was it, 2014? Or it was the when would that kick off? That was like 2014, 15, and then Baltimore had their riots right after that. We had our riots in 2015.
Yeah,
I think St. Louis had their riots. Yeah, so it was all, like I said, this was like 1968 at that time. What was it, 2019 or somewhere around there? It was like 68 all over again. It was just riots in every city over racial incidents, and that's when I realized that the videos I had was very important.
Yeah,
because it's showing you that nothing really is changing. We're living in like just everything is sort of what I like to call it a loop, a time loop. If we don't understand the past and move forward from it, like when I used to, you know, back when I was married or whatever with girlfriends, and we'll get in arguments, and if I didn't reflect on what I did to cause that argument, I'm never going to change, and we're going to break up in the end. You get what I'm saying? So you got to look at your past and study, what did I do wrong in this whole situation? What was my part? And I feel like our Caucasian brothers and sisters are not doing that. They just want to forget about it. No, I don't want to talk about it. Just leave it alone. Okay, I'll beat your ass. Just leave it alone. Let's move forward. Here's some flowers. Let's just move forward. I want to hear it. No, here's some crack pipes. Right. Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and give you some drugs so you can be. But yeah, but yeah, basically the whole thing is to what's the word? Pacify you. Like Malcolm said, they put this in your hood to pacify you. The word is sedate you. This is to sedate you. Sedate you. So you want to ask any questions, and if you do, forget about it. You're a loser. Get over it. You're a racist because you don't want my crack pipes. Right. Yes. So that's what I'm saying. Just look at yourself, and that's how we can heal. But they never have done that for us and the atrocities that happened during that. They're not going to. Let's just take a look at this and say, let's just get this shit out in the open and do it. No, so once the 80s came in, I've noticed during my historical videos that they started wiping all that Martin Luther King, all that stuff out the way, all that raw footage that I have, all that stuff started going away. In the 90s, it was like, racism is over. Bill Clinton's the president. Hip hop is popping, and you know. Bill Clinton's the first Black president because he plays the saxophone. To play the saxophone, right? But when we realized in 2015 and 14, like when I seen Eric Garner get choked out, that's when I woke up from the whole Obama sleep that I was in. Like, oh, we got Black president. Don't get me started on that. Yo, that's another whole topic right there. That's a whole nother situation. That was just another smoke screen. But you know, we're living in a world of smoke screen, chemtrails, and all kind of issues. So what we need to do is what do you call it? We need to put on the glasses so we can see what the heck is going on around us and stop pretending that it's not happening. Those that decide that they don't want to put on the glasses,
we just have to really move away from them and continue on with those that
Right.
want to do what needs to be done for
Right.
us to sustain ourselves in this lifetime, because we are far, far, far behind, you know, concerning what we should be doing to build communally. You know, we have to undo what has been done. And again, you know, like the sister said here, it has to do with morals, the foundation of morals. We can't be 50 and 60 years old trying to still go to the club, wear chains, be rappers, and do all this strange stuff.
OMG.
It's
Me
not,
and my homegirl was just talking about that.
it's not
and the
going to
other-
work. It's not going to work. If you continue
I
on
was
in the
like,
same mistakes, you're not going to be anything in the future. And we know, you know, what is the saying? Like, about repeating
I
the,
told my homeboy that just now, the dude who did an interview with me, Barnix. I told him, I said, he said, well, how can we in Baltimore help our youth out? He was a 40-some-year-old man. I said, the difference is they don't respect us as elders. You know why? Because me and my 21-year-old son, I play video games. I'm still on Grand Theft Auto, like, yo, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. On Grand Theft Auto, having a good time.
okay.
My father never played Atari and Nintendo with me. He was listening to James Brown and doing what he wanted to do. And my parents couldn't stand NWA. They hated Wu-Tang. They didn't know, they couldn't understand what the hell these guys are talking about. So they was listening to Smokey Robinson, Marvin Gaye. But now our generation is so close and we still think that we're young, that we're listening to their music with them, so they don't respect us. We're like peers. We're not their fathers, their elders, someone that they should respect. I will never play. The one time I tried to play 36 Chambers at my grandma's house, and I was 17 years old. My granddad put the fear of God in me. He was like 80-something. I never bring the ruckus on at his house ever again.
Well, the thing is, people are,
But I respected him as a grown old man, you know.
Right.
But these kids will be like, "Shut up, old man." You get what I'm saying? That was respect. I don't care how old you were. To this day, I will never curse around my mother,
right,
or my father. I just can't. And I'm in my 40s. I can't curse around them.
right.
So
But we know now that people have not become elders; they just have become olders. Like, you're
They
older.
become peers. They become peers, and that's what we need to stop in the community, is being peers. Stop driving around listening to Megan Thee Stallion with your daughter. Come on, you're teaching her like, yo, no, my mother was listening to Anita Baker in the car. And we're like, Mom, turn this off.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up, because I forgot to write that down. You know what? You said your mother was listening to Anita Baker.
Anita Baker, Angela Bofield, and all that stuff.
But in that aftermath of this video, where they had Jesse Jackson and all those people doing the little round table or whatever,
civil rights thing.
They were saying, they were talking about the music in 1986, and they were saying, wow, you know, the music, all of this is full of sex, you like the beat or whatever. And so you listen to them saying that, but then when you fast forward to now, people are talking about they want old school music to come back. Well, that old school music that you want to come back is the music that man just said is full of sex. And it was. It's full of sex, sensuality. It's teaching you.
Scapegoats. Basically, music has been used as a scapegoat. Rock and roll, R&B, jazz, Negro music has been used as a scapegoat to the moral decay of society since the 50s, when rock and roll. I have a flyer that I posted from the 50s. It says, "Do not let your children listen to Negro music. The hooting and hollering of the Negro music, do not play it in your stations. Do not put it on your jukeboxes. No Negro music means no Negro customers." That's what it said. And this was 1957, it said, 58.
Basically yesterday.
Yeah, so it's always Negro music, quote unquote, the cause has always been used as a scapegoat, as some of the more immoral decay, you know, and
it's another form of degrading society, our society, and
putting on a scapegoat, you know.
And it comes on subtly, because when you are sitting here in 2022, you think back to Anita Baker and all these love songs and all that. Well, you know what? Yeah, they were love songs, but they were still talking about things that children should not be listening to, period, point blank. Nobody should be talking about sensual things with children. That's just like talking to them about sex before their time. I believe in
That's
good
rock and
music.
roll as a whole, but Anita Baker right now, her music and Sade, that compared to what's going on now, that stuff looks like some,
I link it all together.
Right. Their stuff is so tame. It's like listening to Judy Garland compared to Megan Thee Stallion today.
But I mean, I've never listened to Megan Thee Stallion, but if you think about it, it's all just a segue. Yeah, that looks mild compared to, yeah, it looks mild compared to now, but it's all the same thing. They have a game plan. They've been planning this stuff out forever. We know that music and beats is something that affects you subliminally. These people know this stuff, but it is.
They know African people are susceptible to the rhythm and the beats of the drums.
Right.
That's, they've been studying that culture.
Right. They have been studying us. They use beats and sound waves in warfare. We know all these things now. But we want to still be nostalgic about those things back in the day instead of saying, wait, that's why we're even here now. But that's why it was important when I heard that man say the music of today, it's full of sex. He was like, you listen to the beat and it sounds good, but then when you listen to the words, it's something else.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It was 1986, and that was nothing really. It was just fun hip hop.
86. 86.
So that's that. They still, and then gangster rap was nowhere near being coming out with at that time.
Nope. So what music was he talking about? He was talking about those old school jams that you still playing in your car today, talking about, oh, it's good music. It's not good music. It's all a segue to Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and all these people that we hear now. So I don't accept any of it as acceptable at all. I don't.
Because there's a lot of 70s soul ladies that I love. Them girls are raunchy as hell. I'm like, damn, lady, you talking about some really raunchy stuff. And this was 72.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we need to really analyze as far as nostalgia, because people get nostalgic about the wrong things and wonder why they're in the same place, why they still see their children getting pregnant, they still see people getting killed, they see all kind of deplorable things happening because we're nostalgic about the wrong things.
You're right about that, because nostalgia is people looking at the past with rose-colored lens. Right. You're not going to remember the bad stuff.
I urge everybody, when you go in the store, listen to the music that is being played and start analyzing it. Sometimes they'll be playing music from the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. They're trying to cater to a certain people, a certain lifestyle.
Yeah, when they're going into the market. Yeah. That stuff gets me. I find myself jamming when I'm in the market, pushing the car. They'll play some, I'm a day tripper, one-way ticket. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm jamming. You get in a happy mood. You want to buy.
But it's all got a message. No music is made without a message. It's all got a message, and it's all something that we need to analyze. But so we can make sure that everybody knows how to connect with you. Hezakya, go ahead and give your social media information. First of all, of course, your YouTube channel, because that's how I found you.
Hezakya Newz, HEZAKYANEWZ. That's and films. That's the YouTube channel. Hezakya Newz. It's Instagram. Hezakya Newz. They just took the A after the Y for some reason. So on Instagram is Hezakya, Twitter is Hezakya Newz. So y'all can reach me there. And that's it.
A man was walking by on his phone. I just looked at him like, do you see me on
Okay.
You see me doing something and you on your
phone? I wish it was nice out here that I could sit on my stoop. It's cold up here, man.
Is it cold? Oh goodness, we got family up there. We'll get the weather report later. But we thank you so much. And I'm pretty sure I'll be contacting you to talk about another video, because this is my first video with you. And I've been like locked. I probably watched this documentary 10 times, 10 times, literally.
And I think it was a great interview, great conversation. You guys asked great questions. Shout out to your husband. And if the footage becomes available, let me know when I will post it on my channel as well.
Oh, the footage is available. All it is press stop and send. So yeah. So
I don't know if I was on camera the whole time, because I thought that you took me off of camera. So I was doing some things like.
No, didn't take you off. You were there the whole time. So we'll make sure that you get it and you can upload it to your channel as well. But we definitely look forward to speaking with you again another time. And yeah, we look forward to it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me, and you have enjoyed the rest of your Sunday. And we
All
will
right.
talk again. We're gonna do some more because there's a lot more sociological things that we need to talk about. God bless you guys. All right.
You too. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All right, so that was Hezakya, and again, check him out on YouTube. I really enjoy looking at those videos. I mean, I get passionate and emotional about them because you look at our people today and it is just not that far away. 1986 was yesterday. Even when you look at the other video talking about the people working on the plantations, because I'll call them that, plantations, it was yesterday. But what did you think?
I'll just read one verse of scripture. It kept coming up and remind me of that.
Yeah.
It's in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. It says, the thing that has been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. The powers that be wanted to forget what happened. So like that documentary that he posted, you can't find it anywhere. If he didn't post it, we wouldn't be able to find it.
Right.
They wanted to remember what we were because they wanted to repeat it. And we see it now, repeating it right now.
That's
so
true.
We need people to post old things. If they flag it, so what? You got other sites. You got FanTube. You got all these other sites you can use.
Yes.
You can send people emails, but if we don't post old things, we're gonna repeat it. So it reminds me of that if we don't, they want us to forget former things. We got to try to remember them. Otherwise, we're gonna see the next generation, our children and grandchildren, doing the same thing and think they're doing something new. Like there's nothing new under the sun.
Right. Right. They think that they're doing, it's kind of like taking a pile of crap and putting diamonds on it. And like, look what I'm doing now. And it's like, no, that same pile of crap was shuffled around 12 times before you even presented it to us.
Right. This is old crap.
So and it still stinks.
Right.
It still stinks. We don't need it again. We don't want it again. It doesn't resonate with us. It doesn't digest. We can't digest it. We won't do it. So it takes for us to really see what it is. Like I always say, the root of all of this stuff that is going on is because they want to kill us off. They've been trying to kill us off forever. I don't care what it looks like surrounding us and what's going on with other people. They shuffling folks around or whatever. But when you get to the root of all this stuff, you can see that they are trying to en masse kill us off. They're continuously trying to, that's just it, trying to. Because of course we know about food deserts, we know about the bad food, we know about the genetically modified food. Why would you need to poison food? Why would you need to change food unless you're trying to kill people? It doesn't make sense. Why would you push people into abject poverty? Why would you make them live in radiation plats of land? Why would you why would you make them subjected to a credit system that doesn't work? I mean, why would you make them have poor education and poor schools? Why would you most recently be trying to take the little bit of Black history that's basically phony that you have in the schools out? Why would you make a study? Why would you make us study Edgar Allan Poe, who was disgusting? But you're trying to take out the little bit of remembrance of like Harriet Tubman and all the folks that we learned about, the standard people, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman,
people don't even know about
Luther King, Obama, Michelle Obama. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I mean, we already know that even the Black history that they provided is a huge smokescreen for Boulay and just all these other weird things. But I mean, it's just, we just have to repent. We have to repent as a household. I mean, we can't change everybody, but we know that we are provoked to go into the world and tell the truth, but we got to start in our own households, because you look at this documentary from 1986. I mean, 1986, I was in the 6th grade, and it's like, wow. I mean, I remember that time period. but you just look at it and you're like, wow, when you see what was happening in New Jersey at that time, the same things were happening in St. Louis. The same things were happening in Alaska. The same things were happening in California. All these same cycles of life or lack thereof for our people were happening all around the country. And I would say all around the world. I'm not talking about Black people. I'm talking about our people, you know, and it's just so sad because the cycle, like your scripture, the scripture that you just read, the cycle just keeps repeating itself. There's nothing new under the sun. So, I mean, it's just a lot. It's heavy though. It's heavy, but it's also enlightening. And as you go into these YouTube videos, especially like Hezakya's videos, you know, like he says, he tries to post things that are not there. You're able to gather. And I think that for those who are doing homeschooling, it is important also that you show these videos to your children so that they can see, so they can build from that. So they can look at that and say, wow, I definitely don't want to be like that. I definitely don't want to be in those situations that would cause me to be a teen parent. I want to keep myself until I am married to a person that Yah has for me versus going out here and trying to be of the world, which is, you know, clubbing, getting pregnant and just doing all these different things. You don't want to do that. I mean, I feel like I sound like an old lady right now. I sound like an old lady, but it's like, it's true because we've lived these experiences and whatever is not being told to the children is going to be the deficit. You know, it's going to be the pit or the hole that they fall in, you know, so we got to tell them, we got to sound the alarm. We have to change behaviors. We even have to tell older people, cut it out. What are you doing?
Grow up.
You're 48. Why are you going to the club? It's crazy. Right. For what? What are you looking for? You ain't found it yet?
Right.
I don't think you're going to find it. Just go ahead and lock it down and go in the house, close the door. Yeah. So yeah, as a whole, yeah, we just have so much work to do, but it starts at repentance. Starts at repenting and just saying, you know, I don't want to be who I was yesterday. It's not too late until you're dead.
Never too late.
Yeah. So you got any last words for the people?
I know I want to leave it with that scripture, and they kind of kept coming up a lot.
Okay.
So I just pray that we all see. I think it's important that we look at our own families and see what cycles are in our own family. Like I recently researched my family tree back to 1863, and I'm still learning stuff. I got relatives now that are alive. I got to contact, and once you learn what your family went through and what they did, you can help the next generation, your children, to not repeat it. So I think we should not just learn as a whole, but learn your particular history. Everybody has some different curses in their own family. And we need to actually face that, so that way your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren don't have to face it again.
I think that's true. And the things that we know now, like there's some things that we know about our family, but just imagine 10 times over, there's so much more that has happened, both good and bad, in our families. And we should be trying to find those things out, not just for ourselves, but so we could pass the information down to our children again, because it's about not repeating the same mistakes. It's about being refreshed and new through the blood of Yahusha, and just being what Yah has called us to be, you know, because we are his, but we haven't been acting like his. We are his, and we need to definitely change those behaviors. So we want to make sure that we thank Hezakya again. But then, of course, on that note, we'll read our ending scripture, which is Philippians 4:8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. And whoever out there watching, if you watch this interview, I thank you so much for joining us. Feel free to check us out again, CC on Air or CC Pruitt, also on SoundCloud as well. Just type in my name, CC Pruitt, SISI, and you can upload this and many more interviews. And we look forward to talking to you again. Thank you to my guest, my husband, Willie Pruitt, who is there. Yes, so we will talk again soon, everyone. Thank you so much.